What exactly did you mean when you said that you should nationalize elections, and which 15 states are you talking about?
I want to see elections be honest, and if a state can't run an election, I think the people behind me should do something about it. Because, you know, if you think about it, a state is an agent for the federal government in elections. I don't know why the federal government doesn't do them anyway. But when you see some of these states about how horribly they run their elections, what a disgrace it is. Take a look at Detroit. Take a look at Pennsylvania. Take a look at Philadelphia. You go take a look at Atlanta.
Yes, look at those crooked states like Philadelphia, Detroit, and Atlanta. Why, they're almost as crooked as some other countries like Houston, Denver, and Tallahassee. Yes, once again, Donald Trump is furiously banging his rigged election drum, but thankfully, others in his party adhere closer to the American values that they swore to uphold.
In some of the states, like in California, for example, I mean, they hold the elections open for weeks after Election Day. That's just one thing that bothers so many people. We had 3 House Republican candidates who were ahead on Election Day in the last election cycle. And every time a new tranche of ballots came in, they just magically whittled away until their leads were lost. And no series of ballots that were counted after Election Day were our candidates ahead on any of those counts. It looks on its face to be fraudulent. Can I prove that? No.
But I'm more than willing to perpetuate the conspiracy. So Mike Johnson has no proof of election fraud, but he's pretty darn sure it's going on. It's kind of like how I was sure there was a school-wide campaign at my high school against any females having sex with me. Can I prove it? No. But what other explanation is there? I mean, on the election front, I guess there's this.
Why does California seem to count ballots so slowly?
They do, and there are a number of reasons for that. One, you can mail in a ballot, and as long as it's postmarked by tomorrow, it can be delivered on Wednesday or Thursday or even Friday and get lost, but it still counts. Other states, such as North Carolina, will not do that. That's one reason. Also, the mail ballots are very popular in California, but they take longer to process. You have to open them up. You have to verify the signatures.
Okay, so their leads on election night did not magically whittle away, and their election losses cannot be blamed on some evil Democratic witchcraft. It's simply because it takes a beat to count the tons of very legal mail-in ballots. You know, kind of like the mail-in ballots that Donald J. Trump himself uses. And of course, the president wants to respect that process.
Mail-in voting is totally corrupt. Get that through your head. It has to be. So we don't want them to do mail-in ballots. We don't want anyone to do mail-in ballots. Vladimir Putin said something, one of the most interesting things. He said, your election was rigged because you have mail-in voting.
Totally. Worth noting that Vladimir Putin also told Trump that America is struggling because he's not poisoning his opponents nearly enough with polonium, and he still allows the gays to roam freely outside. By the way, when the results come in this year for the midterms, assuming the administration deigns to allow the results to come in, let's keep a lookout for any Republican candidates who happen to squeak out a win thanks to mail-in voting, because I think this is the response we can expect from Mike Johnson. Now, all of this is very interesting timing as another member of Trump's cabinet finds herself rebranded as a K-pop election fraud hunter.
Trump administration officials are explaining why Tulsi Gabbard was in Georgia during the FBI search of an election office there yesterday. This is a picture of Gabbard as agents served a search warrant at the Fulton County election office looking for 2020 ballots. Gabbard is the director of national intelligence. Officials say election security is part of her role.
Sure, I get it, in the same way that staying far away from the president is part of Eric's role. Wait, explain again why the DNI is collecting ballots in Georgia.
Is Tulsi Gabbard involved in a domestic law enforcement search in Georgia?
Tulsi Gabbard has been tapped by the President of the United States to oversee the sanctity and the security of our American elections. She's working directly alongside the FBI Director, Kash Patel. This is a coordinated whole-of-government effort to ensure that our elections, again, are fair and transparent moving forward. I don't see anything wrong with the President tasking cabinet member to pursue an issue that most people want to see solved.
Sure, no issue at all. I mean, what's the issue with a president who's on a constant quest for pretext to justify every constitution-shredding move he makes? What's the issue with the director of national intelligence, who is more than willing to claim that other countries, and real ones, not Seattle, Burlington, and Raleigh, tried to meddle in our previous elections? And what's the issue with using that lie to then say, for the sake of our great nation, we must assure that the nothing that happened never happens again? I mean, for God's sakes, what's the issue with our ethically sound federal government overseeing these elections to prevent any possibility of voter fraud? I don't see any. I mean, I guess one issue could be that Tulsi Gabbard isn't the most trustworthy person out there.
An unnamed U.S. intelligence official has accused Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard of wrongdoing. The whistleblower also alleges that Gabbard's office is not allowing Congress and the whistleblower's own lawyer from seeing it.
Ooh, it's like the Red Band trailer for the intelligence community. Go on.
The complaint was reportedly filed 8 months ago with the U.S. intelligence community watchdog office. The whistleblower's own lawyer says he hasn't been able to see it because the information is considered highly sensitive. A spokeswoman for Gabbard's office confirmed the complaint concerned Gabbard, but dismissed it as baseless and politically motivated and denied any wrongdoing.
8 months? This person has been blowing their whistle longer than this guy. And all they want is for their elected officials to provide some actual accountability for misconduct and, okay, got it. We know you have a lot of free time on your hands. Let's hear from the actual whistleblower's lawyer.
Our client requested to have this transmitted to Capitol Hill. That is the law. That is what Tulsi Gabbard should have done. That's what everybody's talking about right now. But really what's at play is the underlying complaint, the underlying disclosure that's being withheld from the Hill involves, the subject is Tulsi Gabbard.
So a whistleblower, a government whistleblower, has a complaint against Tulsi Gabbard, and by law, the process is that complaint should be handed over to Congress, but the person preventing that from happening is the person the whistleblower is being blown about? What the actual fuck is going on? This is like having your own lawyer conduct the investigation on whether or not you inappropriately touch young girls. I mean, that would be insane. Anything else?
Now, the Director of National Intelligence in her office is saying because it is so highly classified that it's challenging to figure out how to get this to Congress. But frankly, if it's that sensitive and only limited members can see it, that makes it easier as to identifying into who to identify as to who to send this to.
I'm sorry, someone in the Trump administration is claiming that the reason for the delay is because the information is too sensitive? These are the people who keep classified documents in their bathroom, share secret military plans in the family group chat, and view secret military strikes from behind the ever-secure fabric of Mar-a-Lago's catering curtains. This story about Tulsi Gabbard, stolen ballots, and the whistleblower is so corrupt, even Fox News devoted a segment to it.
Our next guest is one of the first children's transgender public whistleblowers in the United States. Jamie Reed was a caseworker at the Washington University Transgender Center. She joins us now.
Oh, my bad. I forgot. Fox News is laser focused on teen erection fraud. But look, while people like Tulsi Gabbard, Mike Johnson, and Pam Bondi are out front in their coordinated effort to upend our democracy by any means necessary, there are lesser players also doing the devil's work, which would be overlooked at our own peril. Here's Pennsylvania's election denier Heather Honey, who, no offense, looks nothing like her very porny name. She was a woman with practically zero election experience who, after 2020, went on to perpetuate false claims of election fraud. And where is this election-denying not porn star now?
A Pennsylvania researcher who has distorted voter data now works for Homeland Security in an election integrity role.
The Deputy Assistant Secretary for Election Integrity at DHS, which is pretty much like having Lauren Boebert chaperone a school trip to a Broadway musical just to make sure there's no hanky-panky going on. And not for nothing, but I think we can all agree she is more of a Heather Honey than Heather Honey. It is painfully obvious that Donald Trump, his administration, and every single one of his spineless henchmen do not give two shits about our nation's democracy, but instead are simply on a constant quest for some vague justification to enact the type of dictatorial rule that we've never seen before in America. They justify their seizure of ballots and voter rolls by claiming the need for election integrity. They justify kicking millions of low-income Americans off food assistance by claiming the need to eradicate waste, fraud, and abuse. They justify suing news organizations for $20 billion by claiming the need to eradicate media bias. And they justify sending violent ICE agents into American cities by claiming that those towns must be saved from their current state of unwalkable, apocalyptic hellholes. It is all bullshit. And what is so shocking is how every supposed America-loving conservative following orders from this president is completely oblivious to the fact that they are merely tools for his autocratic ambitions. Do they really think that if they stood up to Trump, that they'd still find themselves in his good graces? Ask Marjorie Taylor Greene how that worked out for her when she committed the cardinal sin of suggesting justice for rape victims. This president and his pathetically subservient party are knowingly doing everything in their power to sow doubt in the electoral process and undermine one of the cornerstones of our democracy.
Can I prove that? No.
I'm pretty sure you can.